critic, and welcome. Today I have a fantastic guest with me. Her name is Roberta Stigler Taylor, and she wrote a great book called One and the Same. But before we get into One and the Same, we're going to talk about music, right? Because
Exactly.
she's also a writer, and I don't want to tell it all. Just tell us about it. Welcome. I am so happy to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's my
Thank you very
pleasure.
much.
Come on, tell me all about. I was so excited when you started because the book is one thing, but then I
Right,
thought
right.
about the musical, and I said she's a songwriter, she's a singer.
Right.
Tell us all.
Okay, I am formerly, I was a member of a group called Alton McLean and Destiny. We had a top 10 hit called It Must Be Love.
I remember that song.
Yeah, we were produced by Frank Wilson, who did the Supremes and the Four Tops. So that
Absolutely.
was like a great learning experience.
Mr. Motown.
Yeah, Mr. Motown, exactly. The group, we had 2 albums with Frank, and then the third album, the record company, Polydor Records, decided to go in a different direction.
Okay.
And when they decided to go into a different direction, we got with Skip Scarborough. Now, Skip Scarborough, we're talking Emotions, LTD, Love Ballad.
Oh, yes.
And I think he did Come Function as well.
Wow.
So he did our last album, and I got an opportunity to write a song for the album, and so that's when I got the writing bug. And the song was placed on the album. He helped me. I co-wrote it with another young lady by the name of Tina Scott, and Skip, he arranged it, and it almost was our first single off that last album. It got passed over for something, for a different song. But after we did that third album, Alton McLean, she wanted to go solo. She actually wanted to sing gospel. So I got with Tina Scott, and we wrote a song on Shalimar's album, the Friends album. We met with Leon Silvers, and
Ooh, that's a name I haven't heard in a while.
Misdemeanor.
Wow.
He did some stuff with Gladys Knight. He did And the Beat Goes On
Okay.
for the Whispers. So Leon Silvers, a legend
We
in the
never
music
know,
industry.
Roberta, who writes. You just said something, and the beat goes on.
Right.
And all these songs that we hear, we just associate them with the singer.
With the singer.
But they're not. They're
No,
not the author.
No,
Okay.
not always. But anyway, we wrote a song for Shalimar, and it was our first gold album. And by then, I was like lost. I was like, you know what? I want to be a songwriter. Leon signed us to a production deal, and which led to a deal with Epic Records. The name of the group was Crystal. We had also, it was a top 20 hit, and it was called Nobody's Gonna Get This Lovin' But You. We went on tour. It was just a great experience, We got to open up shows for Teddy Pendergrass, Frankie Beverly and Mays. The list goes on and on. We got to tour overseas, London. I've actually been to so many cities overseas, so many countries. And this was at a very young age. I think I was maybe 19, 20, 21. And
You don't look too much older than that now.
well, thank you
So
very much.
how was that?
Thank you very much. It was just last week. It was last year.
Awesome.
So, like I said, songwriting has been just a part of me for so many years.
Did you know that, Roberta?
You know what, actually, when I was a young girl, you know how when you're a little kid and you're running around the house and adults, they go, what do you want to be when you grow up, little girl? And I would always say, I want to be a rhythm and blues singer.
So you knew?
I knew, I just wanted to. I started out singing in high school and talent shows and different situations like that, and I just knew that it was all I wanted to do. And like I said, I met with Frank, and my career just took off.
So I mean, you always knew that you wanted to be, and so becoming a songwriter led to this.
Yes,
writing.
it did.
So it's really kind of the same.
It is, it's just another form of storytelling because songwriting is telling a story.
Wow.
And once I got the bug of writing songs, actually with Leon, he allowed us to like contribute to other artists. Like I wrote a song for Evelyn Champagne King.
She lives here
Does she?
in Pasadena, yeah.
Wow. And he, like I said, Leon, he would allow us to like contribute to other artists, but for the most part, I wrote for our music catalog. So I had like several songs on the first 2 albums.
Okay.
Our third album, I got an opportunity to write a song with Randy Jackson from American Idol,
Okay.
which was the single.
I didn't know he sang.
Well, you know what? He actually is an excellent bass player. People don't
Really?
know that. Oh, yeah. He is
Wow.
an excellent musician, excellent producer.
Wow.
We got an opportunity to go up north to the Bay Area. Michael Narada Walden.
Well, I haven't heard that name in a long time either.
He was just coming off of the Aretha Franklin fame when he did Aretha's album. And I guess we actually wanted him, and Randy worked with him. So we got Randy, but it was just the same because Michael, you know, he was coming in and out going, no, no, you know.
Yeah.
But Randy produced it. He allowed us, like I said, to participate and in the songwriting process. And
we were having a conversation earlier about the music.
right.
It's not the same anymore.
No, it isn't. And that's the hard part because when you start off in the music industry and the music changes, you have to figure out a way to reinvent yourself. And with the writing of the book, it just seemed like the perfect transition for me.
Okay.
Because, like I said, it's storytelling, but just on more pages.
Well, we're going to talk about the book, but I mean, you have so many credits. I mean, it's just,
Right.
so many things. And again, like I said, when you hear these songs, you don't think about the author of the song.
Right.
You just think of this person that's singing the song.
Right.
And actually, the real talent is the person that puts it on paper and says,
Right. And the
something.
producer and the arranger,
Okay.
they really add flavor to the song because the writing process that I have is that, you know, I will come up with like maybe the chorus, and then the young lady that I write with sometimes, she'll come up with a verse, and then we'll get with one of the girls from the group, and she'll come up with a verse, and then we'll get with the producer who sets us up with a piano player who is basically the arranger. And before you know it, we have like a top 20 hit that's being played on the radio.
Listen, and in my mind, I'm thinking somebody sits down and puts it all together. But you just shared something with me. It's like this piece goes here. All of these things come together to make a song.
Right.
And isn't it interesting how everybody's mind comes together? It's like a marriage.
Yeah, it is definitely a marriage. It's a marriage. And the positive thing is that if you bring these people together and it's a hit, because not only are you sharing the wealth, especially in like a group that has several members, you know, you want everybody to participate.
Okay.
Because you want everybody to be happy.
Okay.
And it's even better if you have a hit, like I said.
Wow. I just, like I said, so how do you know, Roberta, how do you know that you and I can co-write together? How do you know? What is it that you see in the person that lets you know that you guys can work together?
Well, we worked with a young man by the name of William Bryant, and he was just an exceptional piano player. And when we did shows, instead of just doing the songs, you know, just like it is played on the radio, he would add a bridge here, or he would make a change that we could do like more choreography, and you could just feel from him his creativity. And we were able to take advantage of that by, like I said, using him as an arranger and working on songs with him.
So you just instinctively, it's just like a magnet. You guys just kind of come together,
right?
And you just know it's like,
And it doesn't work all the time.
Okay.
But when you do find a great piano player or a great guitar player who is able to take what you're feeling and put music to it, and then add his own element to it to make it, you know, go even further than you could have imagined. You want to write with that person all the time, and you know what? You get burned out. You know, you find that some writers, if you look at the credits on the back of the on the CDs, I was about to say on the back of the album. If you look at the credits on the CD, you might find that I wrote with you on this song, but then I wrote with him and her on that song, because what you offered, you may be like an expert at up-tempo songs, and this person is can write the hell out of a love song.
wow.
And so
That is
that's how you
amazing.
move around. And
That is amazing. It's like these little bitty, you just kind of fit in where it's like, okay, I can do that.
And the music,
do that.
the music industry has changed so much. It just really has. As we were talking about earlier, nowadays, you know, people, they just don't spend as much time on the creative process. It's almost as if they take what was done before and just mimic it, versus, you
and
know,
not even a good job at it. not
versus,
even a good
you
job.
know, Smokey Robinson, or, you know,
Greats.
the greats, except
Yeah.
Stevie Wonder, you know. And I mean, it's really too bad, because they're missing out on a lot of history. The legacy will die if they don't learn from those old artists.
We're going to take a station break in a minute, but when we come back, I want to talk about the book.
Okay.
I really want to get into the book, because I know it's a psychological thriller, and it was like I picked it up and I thought, wow, you know, and it's easy reading for me, because I can't get my vision after a while. The print starts to get smaller and smaller and smaller. So it was easy reading. So in a few seconds we're gonna go to that. But before we do that, I'm excited about you being here. I really am.
Thank you.
I've learned a lot of things about music, and like I said, sometimes we just think it's just, you know, just one thing. Anyway, get your popcorn, come back. We'll see you in a couple of minutes.
One day, when the glory comes, it will be ours.
Dr. King, what's your next move? In March from Selma to Montgomery.
Selma is loud for every man, woman, and child.
We will not wait any longer.
In front of a crowd.
Mine eyes have seen the glory. Glory, glory, hallelujah.
Hi, I'm Rick the Critic, and welcome back. I have today with me Roberta Steiger Taylor, and we're going to talk about her book, One and the Same. If you missed the first half, oh gosh, we talked about music and a lot of other things. Again, welcome.
Thank you
I am
very
so
much.
happy to have you here. Listen,
I really appreciate it.
I looked at this and I thought, ooh, psychological thriller. Tell us about One and the Same.
Okay, One and the Same is a story about a very successful woman of color who has put her love life and anything that will get in the way of her success on the back burner. So she wants to be the first president of a software company, but she runs into a problem. The company hires a consultant from one of their sister companies, and the woman fixates on her. And a series of events happen where people lose their lives, and
Oh, I love it.
people are following people, and I always say that it's a cross between Single White Female and Fatal Attraction.
Hey, Roberta, you sat up at night and did all this psychological, you got all this thriller stuff in your mind.
I had a friend call me, and she said, okay, I'm on page bloody, bloody, bloody. Who do you know that acts like this? Because you're scaring me. And it's like, I just thought it up. I just I just really wanted something that could transition to the TV screen or the movie screen. And so far, I've gotten rave reviews, and it's actually doing very well.
Absolutely, yeah. Like I said, I ran through it and I thought, ooh, psychological thriller. And I thought, okay, next trip, and there, with with the popcorn and the hot chocolate. And it was like, okay. And it's easy reading. I like bold print. I like large print. I don't, when it gets really small for me, it's just, it's distracting. And so I just couldn't, like I said, I ran through it and I thought, ooh, this is a psychological thriller. So now your characters they're not people that you know.
No, well, you know what? Actually, there is one character.
Well, not the crazy.
No, not the crazy, but there is the best friend.
Okay.
And my best friend, I took a lot of her. She's like sassy. She tells you where she's coming from, And of course, she sees the consultant coming a mile away, and she's like, "Okay, you need to watch. You need to watch her."
Yeah.
And because the lead character is so driven to get the approval of the powers that be, she befriends this woman, even though the woman does one thing after another to bring her down, or grease the skids of her demise, as I say in the book. She befriends her because she knows that's what the powers that be want her. They want her to work together with her. And because the company was struggling a little bit and she came in as a consultant. And so the woman, like I said, just fixates on her. And everywhere she goes, the woman goes. And like I said, the best friend is like, okay, you need to watch out for her. And then there's other characters, like the best friend's husband. He is someone that came up on the streets. He basically was an orphan, and he made a success of himself, but he still has secret ties to the street. And so that's kind of filtered into, I've heard people say that it has a lot of twists and turns in it, and I hadn't even really thought about it like that, but that's what they're saying.
Wait a minute, all of this you write songs, these beautiful love songs, and then you got this psychological thriller.
Yeah,
all of that. You know what? The mind is a wonderful thing, isn't it?
It really is. And when I first started writing, or attempted to write my first novel, someone said to me, everybody has a story to tell.
Yes,
it's
I've
just
heard that
all
before.
about sitting down and applying yourself. And like I mentioned before, when you are a creative being and you no longer have a platform to be creative, the music industry has turned, and there's just not a place there for you anymore. This was just the natural step to take.
Wow.
And it seems to be paying off for me because I really, really love to write. Now, I love to read as well, but nowhere near as much as I love to write.
That is, that's very encouraging, because as we spoke earlier, my daughter is a writer, and she writes music, and now she's, like we said, if you're not 17, 18, 19,
right.
It's kind of over for you. I mean,
Right.
25 is like,
Right.
So when I heard that story, when you told that to me, I thought, wow, so you can transition. Because a lot of times they just don't know what else to do.
Right, and you have to find something, because you hear about, of course, you have like the old groups, the oldies concerts that
In Vegas.
right, and actually, they play at the fair and some of the big arenas. But like I said, you have to have like 5, 6, 7 groups on the show. But at least they're working. But there comes a time when you really can't get up on the stage. You can't get up on the stage. You can't. No one wants to see a 40, 50, 60-year-old person up there trying to do choreography. So it's important. It's important to find, be it management. My
Yeah.
girlfriend Robbie Danzy, she used to sing with us, and well, we still kind of dabble in it a little bit.
Okay.
But she has her own management firm now.
So she's still in the business.
She's still in the business, but it
The
is
other side of it.
right. The other side, and that. Everybody has to find their avenue.
Right.
Because you want to. You have this love of being creative, and it does not die. It does not die. You were speaking of your daughter and how you feel that it's time for her to
Right.
make the change, and you have to find something, because after a while, the struggle to be relevant in the music industry, when you don't know which way is up, because you turn on the radio and you're like, okay, I have the radio on, but what is that?
Yeah. Yeah.
What is it? There's no substance, there's no
Yeah.
lyrics. So you have to find your niche. You have to find what direction is best for you. And like your daughter, the direction that she's going, I think that's wonderful. I know a lot of songwriters that would love to be going in that direction, because that's the kind of opportunity that you can sit at home and just get the checks.
Well, I was listening to, and I love the song. What is it? Phenomena. What is
Who's
the
it by?
It's Eric Clapton sings it.
Oh, okay, I know what you're talking about. I don't know the name of it, but I know that.
Right, but Babyface wrote it. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
it's a great song. It's a great song. If I could rule the world, if I could change the world.
Right, right.
I think it's just a great song. And I was talking to my daughter one day, and she says, Mom, and I said, you're kidding me. So, like you and others, you guys still write for other people, right?
It is possible. But well,
Right.
if you are a Babyface, you can write for whoever you want, because you have this long list of hits, and you're still well respected in the industry. But for a person who has only had moderate success, or you may have only had like a couple of songs,
I see.
and you were more of an entertainer, there is still, a struggle to place new material, especially, well, I always tell some of the people who are from the old days, I guess you can call it, that you can write a song, but you need to have like a 20-year-old or a 25-year-old in the room with you, because if you don't, they're not gonna listen to it. They're not gonna like it.
Well, even with Babyface and even he's doing a thing with
Tony Braxton.
Yeah,
It's a great album.
it is. But you know what, Roberta, I couldn't get past looking at. I'm looking at Babyface and I'm looking at Tony, and I'm thinking they kind of old to be out there singing.
But you know what? It's adult contemporary.
It is. But even because our minds are so trained on seeing these young Beyoncés and Taylor Swift. You know what I'm saying? Just automatically, I thought,
Right.
You know, and the album is great.
It is.
It's a great
album. It's
a great,
adult contemporary.
I love him and I love her, and I think they make great music, and it's the kind of music I like to listen to.
Right.
But when I saw them, it was like,
And I'm sure that it was a hit. But when you're talking on a major scale, we're talking, like you said, Beyonce, and who I think is an excellent entertainer. I think that, I really do. I mean, I know people have their opinions about her, but I think that I personally think they're too hard on her. I think that she is doing her own thing. She's not, you know, and she has taken advantage of the music industry and made it her own, and she's doing it her own way.
she is marketable. And let
She
me
is
tell you
very
something,
marketable.
and between you and I, any African American that's
Yeah.
making that kind of money,
Yeah, you
is
got
like,
it. Right.
I'm
You
excited and I'm
really-
happy for them.
Right. You really
It
have to
doesn't
give
matter.
her her due,
Yeah,
because because
it
the
doesn't
other
matter
thing
to
is
me.
that about the music industry is that whole idea that there can only be one. You
Right,
know,
yeah.
why can't there be Beyonce and another very talented woman of color
Absolutely.
that sings and has
Absolutely.
hits? But that's, you know, it's set up to where there's only one, which makes it hard for everybody else. And then before you know it, you're like 35, 40,
And you're out of the game.
You're out of the game.
Well, listen, we're out of time. I mean, gosh, I could talk for days and days and days because I have so much enjoyed you. Would you please come back again?
I sure will.
I would
Then
love
just
for you to come back again. And this is the book,
Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble,
One
online.
and the Same. It's a psychological thriller, and you're going to love it. I started reading it, and I don't want to give anything away. I want you to buy the book. You're going to love it. Roberta, thank you so much
Thank you for
coming.
having me.
And,
I
oh my
really
goodness,
appreciate it.
I'm excited about reading the end of the book.
Yeah.
I'm excited about finding out the end, and I'm also just happy that we got a chance to talk about music and all that's going on. I'm elated. You've given the viewers a lot of information, and the transition from songwriting to writing a book it's just awesome. It's helpful because people need to know that yes, you can do some other
Yeah,
things.
you can.
You don't have to sing and dance till you're 50, 60. This is it for our show. Good night. I had a wonderful time. Thank you for coming. I hope to see you again.
Thank
Good
you
night.
very much.